Hi, this is Mason.
We have sort of a problem here.
And you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins Presents.
You apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Transfer Portal Syracuse.
You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out.
With Brian Higgins and Jordan Capozzi.
Did you see the memo about this?
Capozzi.
If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
Capozzi.
And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo.
Capozzi.
We need to talk about your TPS reports.
With this week's TPS Report.
If you could go ahead and try to remember to do that from now on, that'd be great.
Here's Brian and Jordan.
All right.
Oh, here we are. Wednesday night, regular day, regular time. We weren't up for a 9 o'clock game last night for the first time in weeks, so this is the most awake this show is ever going to be as we roll on after yet another Syracuse basketball loss. Jordan, I think, has entered a cry for help into the chat. It may be a typo of the word hello, but it does look... You're crying out for help, and we've barely even started. That may be where we're going, though, tonight here.
Yeah, man, I mean, vibes are low, man.
They're not immaculate.
I don't know what rock bottom looks like yet, but spoiler alert, I just recorded another podcast and we did like season record predictions for the rest of the season. I mean, there's a distinct possibility this team could lose 8 straight games, and like that's disgusting, and that might feel like rock bottom.
Yeah, this game, and we'll get into it here. This game Saturday against Notre Dame, it's like
important.
It's like really, really important in the idea of not losing a million games in a row, because the games after that are, a lot harder. I referred to Notre Dame last night as crap, and then they immediately went to overtime with Virginia. I stand by their crap, though they did lose in overtime last night to Virginia. But you look at the
How many?
Was it 3? I don't know. It was overtime. They played.
It was 3, not 4. Okay.
Oh, is that
difference couldn't have possibly mattered to anybody.
I know. I don't know anybody that might have mattered to. But you look at the schedule, and this is the terrible thoughts that we had last night during postgame. Like, that matters because it's Carolina and at Virginia after that, both on the road. Like, yeah, good luck to you. You're not winning Big Monday at Carolina, and you're not, and you don't win at Virginia on the best of days, and Syracuse is not on the best of days. And then you have SMU and whatnot, and I think Cal coming in back to back. I don't know. You don't feel good about that. Then you look at, oh my God, there's like Duke and Louisville and all these games. At Wake, they're struggling. There is a possibility here. I don't know if this counts, Jordan, as a meaningful game in March. But there is a possibility that Syracuse and Pittsburgh are playing in the regular season finale with the winner going to the ACC tournament and the loser not. Like, that is a non-zero possibility right now. That feels meaningful to me. I don't know. That's a really meaningful game in March.
Oh, you know what's disgusting about that is there's a large portion of the fan base that when that happens is going to be actively rooting for Syracuse to lose that they can announce Red Autry's firing more quickly.
Yeah, if it has at that, like if you're in that scenario, it's possible it would have happened at that point. Certainly I don't care what happens the rest of the season. The conversation on that isn't going anywhere. But that's 10 games from now. I think there's 10 games left. That's 5.5 weeks, whatever it is from now. That's the state we're in right now. Those thoughts should not be occurring to us under any circumstance. And yet that's what we were talking about in the post-game show. We barely talked about the game because what's there to say? Like, that's what we were talking about in the freaking post-game show last night. And not for like a throwaway. That was like a 10-minute conversation. It's just, this is where we're at right now. Nobody's in a good place. Nobody's in a good place right now.
Yeah, and the worst part is right now we can at least talk about all this stuff, even if it's a little premature to some. And it's at least somewhat interesting, and there are things to talk about because we haven't been talking about next season's coach all season. Well, some of us haven't. But in a month, there's going to be literally nothing to talk about because this is going to be redundant. There are going to be no new head coaches on the block because a bunch of coaches aren't just getting fired mid-season. And if this team doesn't start showing us something that gives us a little bit of hope that maybe they can win a few games in the ACC tournament just for funsies, then I don't know what we're going to be talking about in a month, Brian. Fran's going to have to sign another rapper.
Yeah, I mean, he lost one, so you better add another, right? Speaking of not talking about it, Jordan, I was going to wait till later in the show to toss this out there, but we've been knocking around this idea on various shows. And I figure, like, why wait till later? I'm not debuting it right now, but I'm announcing the debut of this soon-to-be recurring segment that will be starting tomorrow morning, somewhere in the 11 o'clock hour, on Live in the 315. It is called, with graphics, Jordan, Who's Next? With an orange and blue owl saying, who?
Yo, look at that owl.
Yeah, that owl. Like, I was on the fence of doing this or not. Then AI kicked out that owl, and I'm like, well, I mean, like, that owl is up to something. We got to feature that owl on the show. So tomorrow we will start our multi-part series on Who's Next. Owls say who. Yeah, it's a play on words is what it is. And it made an orange and blue owl that looks kind of badass. But tomorrow during Live in the 315, we're going to start a bajillion-part series focusing on who might be next Syracuse basketball head coach. I don't know who we're starting with yet. We'll do like one a day. We've bandied about a million names. I'll pick one. Maybe I'll get a hat. I don't know. I'll pick one tomorrow, and we'll do that. I also did decide we do a lot of bird talk on this show, and we love our friends at Wild Birds Unlimited. I've decided not to offer them the sponsorship of this because that feels a little on the nose. I don't think if you're a local company, you want to actively sponsoring the not yet fired head coach replacing him segment. But like subliminally, it does look a little like the FAU owl. Subliminal ties, but no actual sponsorship ties because we like our sponsors and we wouldn't do that to them. I like red too, but unfortunately we have to do this to him because this will be starting tomorrow. And then maybe we'll be putting like faces and stuff in where the mysterious shadow is and see how it looks. We'll see how adventurous we get with the graphic.
You're going to have to take that down. I am thoroughly distracted by
like
that owl. That is a great
like,
owl.
This owl popped out. Like I was in the middle of a bunch of stuff this afternoon. I was trying to get out the door to class, teach the youngins of America, and AI kicked out this owl right when I was about to leave. I'm like, oh, hold on now. What do we have here? I showed the owl to the class tonight. Why? It didn't really have anything to do with the lesson plan. I'm like, people need to see this owl. Like, I got to get this owl about town because he's awesome. I love the owl. Who the owl? So there we are.
You put that thing up for 2 more minutes, Brian. I'm going to be trying to rationalize giving that owl some minutes at point guard for the Orange. I mean, take that thing down.
I don't know. That owl kind of looks like he's a bossy fellow. Maybe he can be head coach. We'll hire the owl. The owl has a chance to be the player of the game on Saturday. Don't rule it out. Don't rule it out. Oh man. And yeah, you can turn green if you want to click that $sign next to the chat. Once again, this is the like 10th, 11th, 12th show in a row where I've said I'm going to look into it and see if I can make that green be orange because that feels like it would be on brand. And it's the 10th, 12th consecutive show where I have not done that. So
can you change the little star logo next to the name of some wonderful subscribers? Looks like MJ Burke and Cav and Sean Lewis. I think those are all subscribed. Yep.
Yeah.
Can you change that to the owl?
I probably can. It's another thing I say. It's probably exactly in the same spot as changing the colors. So yeah, I probably can do that. I'm going to forget about it and not do it, but I probably can. So we're going to look into all these things. One of these days. One of these games. Yeah, yesterday, yesterday, Quadir Cope. Did you see our player of the game voting yesterday, Jordan, how that went down?
I didn't see the voting, but I saw it was between Calvin Russell and Quadir Copeland, right?
I tossed up a poll at the beginning of the show last night where I gave 3 options for player of the game. Donnie Freeman, 24 points, 10 rebounds, actually Syracuse's best player last night. Q, who was fantastic, and then... they won the game, but he's not on Syracuse. And then Calvin Russell, just because he came in the last, minute of the game and looked athletic and stuff, and people were like, hey, maybe he's at least a good athlete at Syracuse. Yeah, Donnie came in last in the poll. Calvin Russell was second, and Q ran away with it with the ironic 44% of the vote yesterday. So it's just that's where we're at, Jordan. That's where we're at right now. That's Syracuse basketball right now.
Not that we should start talking about Calvin Russell, like that's the main takeaway. But he came in and he like missed a layup. I'm totally not stirring instant eggnog right now.
Not at all. I mean, it's a great sound effect.
Hold on. Hold on. All right.
How much stirring does instant nog need? That was a lot of stir.
Probably less than that. Calvin Russell came in and like I think he missed a layup immediately, and I was like, why didn't he try to dunk it? And then he scored a little bit, and I was like, yay! Like that was fun. That was
like out of all the things that happened in the game, that was like the one enjoyable one.
William Kyle's block. That was fun.
That was fun. He jumped real high, but the problem was by the time he jumped real high, the game was over already. It's like, well, they've lost, but he jumped really high. Should we take a call here, Jordan? There's somebody on the line that I know likes Calvin Russell, and who knows what else is on the mind tonight. We got our guy Nick out in Vegas hanging on. What's up, bud?
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
How you doing? You're in the shadows. You may be the mysterious next coach of Syracuse.
Yeah, maybe. You never know, right?
Can't rule it out.
Can't be any worse than we have now. But listen, let me preface this by saying I agree that Red needs to get fired, first and foremost. Okay? So I'm not saying that he doesn't. I hate to see it happen, but I agree that it needs to happen. Now, I was listening to a show earlier today, and a caller called in and said that his goal is to find someone to start building relationships with the players, get someone hired as soon as possible because they need to retain Cayenne, Sadiq, and Donnie. I thought to myself, how delusional can somebody be? First of all, Donnie Freeman's not going to come back to play for Syracuse, regardless if he goes to the NBA or not. He had to bite his tongue the other night when asked about the fans and the way we're all acting as a whole right now, right? There's no way he's coming back to play for Syracuse. And
I'd lean he's probably in the. I mean, he played well enough, at least for his spurt, that he can get drafted. Like I'll just assume he's in the draft until proven otherwise at this point.
Right, but if he doesn't go pro, he's going to take a bag in the SEC or the Big Ten and sayonara. But mainly because he'll get paid, and second, a close second is the fact that he likes Red and he doesn't like the disrespect that's happening. My point being is, I don't think you're going to retain anybody on the roster, including Cayenne, because he was another one that was very vocal about the way the fans are acting towards Fire Red. And, you know, they see it online. They see the Twitter accounts. They see the burner accounts who are acting like a bunch of jerks, right? They see it. And my question is am I wrong for thinking that he's delusional? Do you guys really think anybody's going to come back next year? You're going to get a whole new roster.
I mean, realistically, most of the roster is going to turn over just because that's what happens in situations like this. I think the Cayenne case is so unique because of Melo that I don't have a damn clue how to predict it.
Let's say he's a 50-50, but he's the only one.
Well, I'll say this. Like, Sadiq and Cayenne are boys. So, like, I could see a scenario here where, all right, they make the move. They make a quick and aggressive hire whenever it is in March. And I didn't realize this till yesterday. The portal date has been moved back until after the NCAA tournament this year instead of after the first round. So, in theory, you will have a new head coach in place before the portal is open. And, yeah, we all know that stuff happens, but nothing officially happens before then. So I think, Nick, what it could be is, like, they could all be mentally out the door, but maybe they meet the new guy and like the new guy. I think the extra time at least gives you a chance. Now, does it mean anything? Like, there are situations like this where everybody goes, and then you're just left with, like, Cheffing Dewara, and you're like, great. What happened here? So I don't know. Like, am I going to guarantee any of them are coming back? No, but I wouldn't. The people that are like, they're 100% gone. No, I don't think we know that yet.
All All right, that's fair. I can see that part of it. Now let's flip the page real quick and let's talk a little bit about football because the schedule came out and
Yes.
I've been dying to talk about it.
Okay. Early
So-
bye week.
Yeah, very early bye week. And this is obviously subject to change after spring ball. And I'm sure there will be plenty of different projections as the year goes on. But my initial thought of it was out of the first 5 games, I think they go 4-1 to some degree. Whether they lose to Cal or they lose to Pitt or they lose to Virginia, somewhere they're going to fumble and lose a game.
I'd say with the at Pitt on a Thursday night, that's tricky business. But yeah.
Yeah, but Pitt's also down. They got crushed in the portal, and they didn't have a very good recruiting class. So we'll see what happens. But I think somewhere they lose a game. And then in the next 4, I think they go 2-2. And then in the final, at the end of the schedule, I think they go 2-1. So 8-4 total was what I came up with.
All right, I've not, Nick, I haven't put a number on it yet. The main things I've looked at it are I don't like the early bye just because I don't like the 9 straight weeks with a game for a program that has had significant injury issues more years than not. I find that worrisome. I do like on the behalf of the Syracuse fans that even though it is a 6 home game year, and obviously it was supposed to be 7 and turned into 6, I like that there's at least 2 in October and 2 in November, so it's a little spaced out. The Notre Dame game to close the season in the Dome, obviously that's a tough ask, but it's also a game that just regardless of how the season's going, you're going to get people there. So you won't have an empty Dome to end the season if the season goes south. So I like that. And then, I think it's the same story as always. Is Steve Angeli healthy? And if not, is one of the backup quarterbacks worth a crap? I'd say that's where the season turns more than
I think
anything.
they did enough in the portal to at least secure that room and know that somebody's going to be okay.
You'd hope so. I mean, this is, I don't want to say a make or break year like he could lose his job. I mean, you never know in this day and age, but it's a make or break year for, I think, the fans' faith in Fran based on all the way up here, year 1, all the way down here at year 2. We got a tie-breaking kind of year. So a fast start this year, I think, would be huge. Like, it's an early bye week. If you can somehow beat Pitt on that Thursday night road game, which I think will be very tough to do just based on location, how you performed there, the last time you were there on a Thursday night, McCord threw 87 interceptions in the first half. I think the issue there, if you win that game, though, you're going into a bye week, and now you've got some positive, like that's something to build off of. You know how Syracuse fans are. They take a little while to launch into a football season. If you win that game into a bye week, now the Orange fan base is going to get on board, and now you can get something going. So that's a pretty early, important hinge point game here.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I think Cal and UConn both are going to be sneaky good. They both had tremendous portals, and they're both going to be much better than they were last year. So if you can come out of that 5-game stretch 4-1, you're onto something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, heck, Syracuse football almost any year. If you're 4-1 to start the season, you take it and put it in your back pocket and move on with life. We'll see. I like Calvin Russell's jumpy. I like that. So maybe we'll get to watch him.
Yeah, he's definitely got a motor. That was definitely evident last night in the minimal time he played. But yeah, definitely has a high motor. All right, guys. Well, that was my thoughts for the show, and I appreciate you taking my call. And I'll listen to you tomorrow, Brian, and I'll talk to you guys after the post game, I'm sure.
All right, sounds good, Nick. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jordan had a walkabout. He got a cord. He's plugged in. He's all good. What'd you have there?
It was great. Is it okay to say that, like, I just don't even feel comfortable making a schedule prediction for the football season on January 28th?
Yeah, I hadn't. Nick broke the whole thing down there. I hadn't even remotely considered a record yet. I was looking at it more the big picture thing, like early bye week after a Thursday game. I'm like, what genius is coming up with these things in the ACC office? And I had some conversations with other people that looked more at the big picture stuff. Like Louisville's playing, I think it's Labor Day Sunday and then again on Friday or something crazy. Like there's some really, really weird turnarounds or lack of turnarounds in the league this year that are just like, how, like I know there's a lot of teams in the league and I know they had to change thing last minute, but did they spend like 6 minutes on this schedule or like what did they do? Like it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna reposition my camera so my cat and dog are just in the
there.
frame.
There's Hey Grover, dude's just out. That's what dude thinks of the football schedule. Dude thinks I'm just gonna put my face on the ground and go with it. I like it. All right, we got another guest here, on the line. I believe Jordan. See, Nick went for the shadowy look, like I don't know, unintentionally here. Mark here is going to take advantage. If I can click the OK button, Mark here is going to take advantage of our witness protection service that we do offer our callers. What's up, Mark? How you doing?
Hey guys, how you doing? I just love the show. I gotta give you guys credit. It's just great to have something to tune in on a quiet Wednesday night with no action. But I know obviously we're all talking about potential Syracuse basketball coach, and I'm curious your take. I mean, I know people are up in arms when they hear the name Jerry McNamara, but I personally think he'd crush it with NIL. I mean, he's one of the most respected alumni we have, and just think about Jerry McNamara walking into some of these people's office buildings in New York City or whatnot that have big checkbooks. Jerry McNamara coming in rather than some I don't want to say no name coach, but a coach that people aren't really familiar with. I have to think Jerry would do a lot better with NIL. And then also, Jerry has proven he could coach. He took over a Siena program that had 3 wins. They moved to 14 wins in his first season. In his second season, they've already matched the 14 wins. They're 14 and 7, 7 and 3 in conference play. A real contender in the MAC. So Jerry's proving he can coach. So I really think maybe it just was a flat out wrong decision that Wildtack made in choosing Autry or Jerry. And I just curious what's your case for not hiring Jerry?
I say this, like, I think the main case that people are making against Jerry right now literally has nothing to do with Jerry. It's just that you got to rip the Band-Aid and do something different, which has nothing to do with Jerry in itself. I think Jerry's doing a nice job. I mean, going back to if Jerry or Red were the only 2 options when Boeheim left, and clearly Red was going to be the guy because he was the associate head coach. Like, we knew this. Jerry was more of a tactical guy. Red was more of the recruiting guy. A lot had been put on Jerry negatively in his time here as an assistant for his failure to land the major recruits he went after, right? Like, he'd be in the mix with big recruits, and there's a list, but they'd go to Kentucky, or they'd go to Duke, or they'd go wherever. To your point, Mark, though, in this era of NIL, if Jerry can go out, say it is Jerry, or pick whomever the next coach is, if whomever the next Orange coach is can go out and arrange a war chest, recruiting's a whole lot different than it was 4 or 5 years ago. Like, you can get those guys in. What I'll say about Jerry is Jerry's going to get a conversation. Like, he'll get in the mix, he'll get talked to, he'll get an interview, he'll get whatever. I don't think he should be handed the job. I think he should be talked to. If Siena doesn't make the NCAA tournament, I think that's a very hard sell. If Siena makes the NCAA tournament, I'd say he's in it with a fighting chance.
I don't know. It's almost not about Jerry at this point for me.
Yeah, it's not.
I was never a wipe your hands clean of Syracuse ties, Boeheim era guy, but just seeing the vitriol towards Adrian Autry this year.
It's wild.
And like, there's a new chancellor, could be a new athletic director. Like, it just kind of gives a chance to start doing things different. Even if Jerry's been a great coach doing what he does, I do think because of his Syracuse ties, Jerry probably comes into Siena with some resources to tap into that a lot of coaches in that situation might not have. There's no guarantee he comes in and is successful. And while I like to think the fans wouldn't turn on Jerry the same way they turned on Red,
oh man, I don't know if I could
think about
that.
The possibility. Yeah, so I'm almost like
Jerry.
It's not even about Jerry. I have more faith in Jerry than I have in Red right now. I think you have to based on what we've seen, but I just don't want to see how it goes down if it doesn't work.
Could you imagine if they hired Jerry and Jerry failed? Oh, like Jerry is, if not, like he's shortlisted maybe the most popular player in the history of Syracuse basketball. Like he gets cheered louder than Melo sometimes. If the fan base had to turn on Jerry, I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about that, Mark. I don't know, but like, is Jerry a good coach? Yeah, Jerry knows. Like, I've talked to Jerry enough during his time as a coach. I really like Jerry. I like Red. Jerry knows his ball. He talks ball. He can break down film. He knows all that stuff. I think he's a very good X's and O's coach. Would he succeed at Syracuse? I haven't the foggiest at this point, because
I just hope Jerry really gets a fair look, and it shouldn't.
I
just
think he
be,
will.
It shouldn't just be the results of Autry is telling of how Jerry would be as head coach. That's all I'm getting at. And
I agree. I don't think it's indicative of what Jerry will do. I just almost think now, like, this is a chance to start fresh. I think Jerry. One thing about Jerry, sorry to cut you off, but this light bulb popped up too. Sometimes, unfortunately, I question Red as like a motivator. And I remember when Jerry would talk, man, he would say some things that made me want to run through a brick wall. Jerry wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, but to Nick's point in the chat, like, man, if Jerry gets the job, which it's possible, if they hire Jerry, say Siena wins the MAC, they're in third place right now, they can win that tournament. There's no reason they can't win the MAC. Say he wins the MAC, makes the tournament, either wins a game, doesn't, whatever. I think that's enough to, at least it puts you in the conversation. You've got some proof that you can be a good head coach, at least at some level, which Red, unfortunately, he never had based on just his career trajectory. So he gets the job, but man, if it then goes like it went for Red and it's more of the same and Syracuse doesn't improve, Syracuse fans booing Jerry. You want to talk about something that break the program? Like, oh my goodness. Syracuse fans booing Red is one thing. Syracuse fans booing Jerry, you're booing maybe the most popular player in the history of the program, and I think we all know what would happen. Or people would just stop going to the games at all, which is kind of happening, just because they couldn't bring themselves to boo Jerry. It would be the weirdest thing. Now, the other side of the coin, Mark, there would be nothing more popular than Jerry becoming the head coach and succeeding. Like, if Jerry was the head coach and was successful at it, there's almost nothing you could do that would be bigger than that.
yeah, no, I'm totally with you guys on that. I just think, not to just make such a big case for Jerry, but he's done a nice job recruiting at Siena. He's obviously has ties in the New York area. He has NIL ties. I think like Weitzman might even be involved over there. And like, I don't know if that even gets Weitzman back at Syracuse. Jordan, I see those eyes over there. I just
My
think
dog just looks really cute.
I know we want to start fresh, but hiring the coach from, I'm just making something up. Like I know Miami, Ohio is having a great year, but hiring the coach from Miami of Ohio, who probably doesn't have any ties to the New York State area or Syracuse area, and NIL ties for that matter, versus Jerry. I mean, I just see this playing out with Jerry getting the job. I really do.
I mean, I think it is. I don't want to guarantee that, Mark, but I think it is for the people that have ruled out that idea completely. Don't rule out that possibility completely. Like that, it will get discussed. I guarantee you it will. At minimum, Mark, like in the room, whatever the room is, wherever this mysterious room is, that conversation will happen. And I'd be reasonably certain that Jerry, at minimum, will get an interview for the job.
And the last point I want to make is, I don't know if we're talking about, John Wildhack enough. I mean, this is going to be the, career defining decision right now about how he handles this program. I mean, just think about, Wildhack's career here. He inherited Dino Babers, had some success, but then kind of turned into a disaster at times. Fran Brown was really going out of the box for that one. But obviously the state of the football program is not great right now. The state of the basketball program is just horrible right now. Wildhack is probably towards the end of his career right now, but I don't know if we want to put him in the same category as like a Darryl Gross about where he ran these programs too. But I think Wildhack really has to make some sort of big decision here, to kind of earn his legacy here at Syracuse.
I'll say this, like, of current coaches at Syracuse, like, Daryl's hired as many that are successful at Syracuse right now. or more than John has, and Daryl's been gone for a decade. So that kind of tells you a lot about where that is. Not to even put it on Wild Hack, I've said it repeatedly, Mark. I have no idea where the power play is going to be for making the decision. Like, is it the old chancellor? Is it new chancellor? Is it Wild Hack? Is it the board? Like, I don't know where the buttons are going to be pressed from on this, and I think that will be absolutely fascinating to see how it plays out publicly, and then whatever is spilling out from behind the scenes of just how the politics of this is going on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, Mark. Always good to hear from you. Mark in our shadowy box on the screen there. I don't know. Like, we all like Jerry. I mean, who doesn't like? If you don't like Jerry, just as a dude, just get out of here. Like, I don't know what to do with you on that. Like, everyone loves Jerry. Like, Jerry succeeding as the Syracuse basketball head coach would be awesome. But man, I don't know. Like, the fan base right now, a majority wants them to just go in any other direction, and the idea of Jerry failing, that's sad. It's just look what happened to Pat Ewing at Georgetown. Like, the idea of your legend failing at the school is sad.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said about, look at how bad it is now, that's program breaking. I mean, look, things are not good now by any means, but this is going to be hyperbolic, but I feel like you give the job to Red, he doesn't do well. It's not good. Let's make a change. You then give the job to Jerry, he doesn't do well. How do you even recover from that? I mean, look how dude is. I don't know if you can hear him. Like, he's mad about it right now. But
he even picked his head up. The dude's involved in this conversation.
But at the same time, Mark kind of brought this up. But if Jerry is the best guy, then it's unfair to not give him his chance solely because he wasn't given the chance to start.
Right.
So,
like, that's a bad reason not to give him the job.
Like, look, Josh is at Shirts. I'm not caught up with all these guys, but from St. Louis, he's making, I think I saw online, all these salaries are BS, but I believe I saw somewhere it said he was making like a couple mil, right? So he's highly sought after. Some school is going to pay out of Syracuse's price range for a guy like him, for example.
Yeah, probably a Big Ten school based on where he's coaching right now.
Yeah. So let's also think about this. A lot of guys who you have on your mind right now, not you, but just like people in general, they might seem like great ideas. You're not the only person,
right?
Team, program who has that idea, but the other ones might have a little more money and might be a little more attractive. So, my point is, like, let's see who's there at the end of the season. Let's see how some of these teams do. Let's see what teams end up needing coaches and, trying to get them. And who knows, maybe we do fall back and end up where a lot of fans think we should have been 3 years ago.
Yeah, Jason Hart is a name coming up in the chat. Jason Hart's on the staff at Kentucky right now. Kev, he's very highly thought of, but he's another guy. He's never been a college head coach. So, like, I've never dealt with Jason in like, he's been so many different places. He's never really been in Syracuse, but he's very highly regarded in the coaching community, both pro and college. I think he's an intriguing option, but do you, for like the same reason it would be wrong to disqualify Jerry, like, would it be wrong to disqualify Jason because you don't want to hire someone that hasn't been a head coach before? But you have to be wary of that based on how it's just gone with Red. And all three of the people we talk about there, former Syracuse point guards. All right, let's bring on our next caller here, our guy Gavendo, who, unless you got elected recently, Gavendo, you typed your name in as governor today. So congrats on your appointment, I guess. What's up, man?
Thank you. I thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good job.
I don't remember the election, but good for you.
I voted.
Well, I know Jordan did vote. I voted. What a sad state of affairs. I don't think anybody else in the family gets a run at this due to the fact that we've already screwed this up. So, as you said, I think it ruins Jerry's chance to get a fair shot because they've already struck out trying that already, right?
Yeah. And that's
why don't we ever make changes, like starting lineup changes? That would be, before the year, a lot of people could have said you could have made some. You knew your ass was on the hot seat. You could have made some assistant coaching changes, brought in some, I don't know, seasoned vets, people that's been around the block a little bit that can give you. We all know that the guy Brendan Strong got his gig because he was a package deal with Donnie Freeman. That's what I've heard.
I mean, if not officially that, he was certainly significantly involved, right, in his recruitment.
Okay, so where's all the DMV guys that were supposed to come here?
Right, it didn't start a trail of them.
Right, not to harp on Griff, but like, what have you done for us lately? You know, where's our recruits? Where's our development? You know, I would have made changes back then if you had to make them. But also, why aren't we changing the starting lineup? Why do we have to see Nate George run into a pack of wolves and turn the ball over every other possession?
Quite literally in the last game against NC State in the Wolfpack. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it feels like, and we've talked about this in a lot of post-game shows, right, Gavendo? It just feels like we're watching the same game on a loop. Like we just watch the same game over and over and over again, and eventually, be it close or be it not, like the same issues knock them down. I think that's the most frustrating part. Like if you're not good enough and you just can't beat these teams, you know, so be it. Like I think in many ways that's why this year's more frustrating than last year. Last year they just weren't good enough. Like they couldn't win the games last year. The year sucked, but like what did you expect once all the injuries happened to JJ and Donnie? Like you just couldn't do anything. This year, you're like, they should be in the games, and they're not. And that, to me, anyway, that's what's making this so frustrating.
And even when they are in the game, yeah, you know they're going to get worse.
We almost beat Auburn. We almost beat Kansas. We beat Tennessee. Now, our best player came back, and now we have no identity anymore.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
He's doing well, but we're not doing well as a team.
No, and I think a lot of that is, you know, you get into conference play. Now you're running into, speak of not making changes, right? You're running into coaching staffs that have coached against you before. You're running into more predictable time to game plan for games. It's not quick turnaround. There's game plans. And you run into these tendencies and stuff. Like now we're seeing, what are we seeing since some of these recent losses? You're seeing teams be physical with Donnie, and that gets passed down. Like you're seeing the things, like teams are getting really specifically honed in on the things that bother Syracuse. Like look at last night. NC State just went to the basket over and over and over again after halftime. And, you know, a lot of that's coaching,
not even
right?
to the basket.
Yeah.
When we throw the zone at them, all they had was Quadir flash to the foul line. Quadir is such a good distributor. All he had to do was pass it to somebody else, and we had a bucket. They had that too. That's what they probably worked on the whole day of like, hey, if we see zone, this is what we're doing. If we don't see zone, this is what we're doing. And guess what? It worked on both fronts for them.
Yeah, Quadir probably didn't even need practice. He's like, yeah, I used to do this back in the day at practice. Like when I was there, I knew how to do this. Like that was easy work for him. I don't know, Gavendo. Like the other question is what sweeping changes actually would help. But yeah, it would be nice to see. If you're going to tell me things are going to keep going wrong, I'd at least like to change up the reason of why.
Well, the definition of insanity is just keep doing the same thing over again. Like,
yeah,
why do we keep losing games? Why do we give everyone a 10-point head start? Why do we not play well in the second half? Change your freaking starters. I don't know how to do. I'm not telling you who to play or what to do, but like, fucking mix it up. Yeah. Experiment. Like I know it's not a chemistry lab.
Like Jim Boeheim was never a, just mess with the starting lineup guy unless it was absolutely necessary. Though what Jim was, like, if you were struggling, you hit the bench like 2 minutes into the game. Like he wouldn't change his starting lineup. He changes 2 minutes into the game lineup, plenty over the years if things weren't going right with the starters. And I heard something interesting, Will Wade, they won the tip last night and went down and scored 4 seconds into the game and literally never trailed. Apparently, Will Wade spends an inordinate amount of time in practice on opening tips because he has some analytic that in games of evenly-ish matched teams, if you win the opening tip and score, you increase your chances of winning by like 1% to 2%. So they designed a play. They won the opening tip, tipped it forward to their best player, went to the rim, and scored 4 seconds into the game. Like, did that win them the game? No, but it tells you about attention to detail. It tells you about coaching. It tells you about really specific crap like that, which works when you do it right. Like, it sounds stupid. Like, that sounds insane. Is it why they won the game by 20 because they had the first 2 points? No. But, like, that's not nothing. Like, that's a sign of other things.
Odds,
yeah, it's a sign of other things.
Why? The other thing, too, is I feel like we've wasted so much money, other people's money, on our point guard and our hometown shooting guard. Our hometown shooting guard, he does well in things and then somehow can't make a layup when he drives to the hoop. You're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
How many times do we see that?
Has regressed too. Remember at the beginning of the season when he was at least like competent with the catch and shoot three a little bit, and now there was last night. What did he take? Like 3 in a 60-second span, and it's just like it reminds me. Was it BC or Florida State last year? He went like 1 for 9, and it's like, dude, cut it out.
I think it was Florida State. It was his first game back, and he was getting them up.
Yeah, man. It's JJ can't make a 3, and Nate George, like he's got to be shooting sub 50% on layups this season. Like I'm sure I could try to find the stat, but it just feels like when he goes to the rim and tries to do anything besides pass, it's just a disaster.
It doesn't help us getting rebounds too when 4 of our guys are at the 3-point line. We're not going to be able to get rebounds that way.
You generally are further.
Yeah, like if we're not crashing, at least 1 or 2 of us, like it's going to be very hard, obviously, because we saw it that William Kyle cannot get every rebound.
No, and again, like the same thing that's happened to Donnie has happened to William inside. Like teams are being really physical with him now because that's not the strength of his game, just due to his body type. And if he's not getting help down there, they're just going to wear him out physically. Like he can still do the cool stuff, like get unbelievable block shots and jump really, really, really high. But the dude is not a physical horse that he can go down there and just, all right, the post is mine. Everyone else, don't worry about it. Like he's a guy that can do a lot of stuff, but he needs some help because of the size issue.
Yeah, well, I don't like where it's going.
I don't think anyone does, Capendo. I don't think anyone does. The governor, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know the governor of what, but he's the governor of something now. Congrats on.
I'm the governor of my own realm.
All right. Yeah. We all strive to be. I don't know if you or I are the governor of our own realms. At least Capendo's the governor of something. All right, so lots of people know what the link at the top of the chat means. If you click that, you can join the show. Shout out to our friends at Wild Birds Unlimited. They're closed right now. It's 8:46. What a ridiculous time that would be to go to a store with birdseed. They'll be open tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. A fantastic time to go buy a bird feeder. Their website is always open because it's the internet. And if you'd like to click that $sign, as it says in the chat next to the chat box, you can give us money. We like money. You can highlight your chats. You can turn your name green and become a channel member. We can do all that stuff. Yes, Joe Filippelli. Derek Coleman needs to work with the bigs. That'll solve it. Derek Coleman needs to work with the bigs. Need a big man coach. Big man coach would solve everything. Oh, man. This is where we're at, Jordan. This is where we're at. This is the frustrating part, right? This is weird that this year feels more frustrating than last, is it not? Like last year was terrible. It was objectively bad basketball. This year's more frustrating.
Well, it's like the question of what would you rather experience? Like, would you rather experience a tight game and then losing at the buzzer and dealing with that heartbreak, or would you rather just never be in the game? That sort of thing. And at least when you were never in the game, it's like, all right, there's a way to rationalize this. We didn't deserve this. Wasn't good enough. This makes sense. But this team, it's like, we don't deserve this as people who watch this team. And sometimes it's just inexplicable. And that's why the reasoning goes to coaching, of course. But yeah, it stinks, man. Like it stinks.
Shout out to a friend of the 315, Ryan Mullen, who's already changed his avatar to the picture of the bird. He's already changed his avatar to the owl, the Who's Next owl. So,
I saw.
Yeah, we always know that Ryan's going to be on top of this. You're welcome, Joe. We'll on the couch at any time. Yeah, we need Ronnie Cycli's DJ money. We don't need him to be a big man coach. We need Ronnie Cycli DJ NIL. Like, who's matching that? We need to be doing our recruiting at 3 a.m. in the club in Miami with Ronnie, throwing around cash and whatever. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, Lauren, I mean, it does seem worse because there's, if not talent, there's players we at least think are supposed to be talented, and we'd like to see them do better. Is Red's best game other than the Vols win the near win over SMU last year? No, they beat North Carolina 2 years ago. We do forget that happened. I had forgotten that happened. I just happened to read about it, reading about Quinnier the other day. And the Miami buzzer beater game that year. Now the list is over. That's the list. I think I got. You got anything? I can't think of. I can't.
Does
think
the
of
Houston win count?
Yeah,
or?
well, I think the Houston almost win was better than the SMU almost win, George. I'm putting the Houston almost win over the SMU almost win. Take that, SMU almost win. Oh man, this is where we're. This is where we're at. Yeah.
I think what makes it infinitely more frustrating too, somebody mentioned it in the chat, but the conversation is quite literally when to fire Red. And like,
it's not,
I think you're in this, it's when.
Yeah.
I think you're in the same boat as me where like there's a difference between what could happen, what you want to happen, what should happen, and what will happen. And I think a lot of people know, unless Syracuse goes out and like loses that 8-game stretch between Notre Dame and Pitt,
right?
And even then it's unlikely. What will happen is Adrian Autry will finish the season as head coach of this team, which makes it all even worse because then all of this conversation is just for nothing. So we're basically just forced to discuss a dead talking point that I think a lot of us know it's just not going to happen. What would you put the chances at, Brian, of Adrian Autry actually being fired before the season ends? Is there any?
Before the season ends, yes, I think there's more than none. But the people that think it's like imminent, there's 6 weeks left. There's 5.5 weeks. And here's where I'm at. Like we've talked about all of the changes that are happening or could be happening or whatever's going on in the university power structure right now. If you fire Red right now, like right now, there is one person that is answering questions about the future of the basketball program, and that is Adrian Autry. And, sometimes the players. If you fire Red, other people then are required to answer those questions. Has anyone heard from John Wildhack in 2026? Or I don't know the last time I've heard him speak. Has anybody heard from anybody else anywhere in the power structure of Syracuse University about the future of Adrian Autry? Have you heard from, I still haven't heard some of the assistants ever speak, much less speak on the future of Adrian Autry. I know some former radio producer that's not at all bothered by that. But yeah, who are you going to make speak? And honestly, I think that's a legitimate reason. Like, if you're talking about reasons not to do it now, that is a legitimate reason not to do it now. It may be a stupid reason not to do it now, but it's a legitimate reason because you fire Red now, then there's a whole lot of speaking that still needs to be done. There's contractual weekly radio shows that need to be done. There's press conferences that need to be done. There's weekly Zooms with the ACC that need to be done. And if you fire him now, you have to go explain why you did it. You can't fire the coach and then not talk about it. Dan, Coach Dan, you go field this one. Nobody knows if you can form words, but you go field this one. I don't know. That's one of the main reasons. Now, if they completely implode, you may have to do it late February, early March if it goes like totally haywire. But I don't know. I feel bad saying this about Red when I keep just saying he's going to be fired. But hey, here's what you get, Red, for getting your paycheck for the next 2 years. You're gonna wear it for the next month and a half. Just wear it, but you're gonna earn a few $1,000,000 for it.
I think even if it gets late in the season, then it's like, all right, what's the point of doing it with 2 games left?
Yep.
Because like Shouldn't JJ at least be able to go out for the final game of the season with the coach who he came back to play for, who got him a very nice car, which he likes to get Chipotle in? And, like that's his guy. At that point, it's like, who cares? What you said about the red thing too, like there's jobs that need to be done. That's something, I know it sounds stupid, but that's another reason I think you don't get rid of him, because even whether he truly believes it or not, whether he believes he's a dead man walking, or whether he thinks that he can save his job, or whether we're all stupid and he somehow gets another year, which isn't going to happen, but it just goes to prove this point. Red is going to try his hardest to do what is best for the program and put every minute into improving this basketball program until they tell him we no longer need your services.
Yeah, but he's grinding his ass. Look at the bags under his eyes, man. He is grinding his ass off on it.
So why cut off a member of the staff, right? Like, it's just more work for everybody that needs to get done. Like, why get rid of him? You're not going to hire the new guy mid-season. Like, if Red's going to go out and do his best and at least, do things that need to be done, so just let him do it rather than making like Griff and Engelstad and Strawn take over a bunch of more stuff.
Can you imagine 4 weeks of the Dan Engelstad show with Matt Park from somewhere? Just like what? Like,
I think it would be Griff. It would be Griff, wouldn't it? I feel like Griff's the one who goes in and does that. Yeah,
I mean, Griff will show up anywhere and chat your ear off. I mean, he'll even fight you at a coffee shop, maybe. If anyone ever showed up for that, Griff included. But yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's weird because, like, as dumb as it sounds, like where you're at right now, like if you've already decided, like if it is as decided that it can be that he's done after the year, like part of earning your buyout or whatever is just wearing it the rest of the way. It's just wearing it. You're welcome, Johnny, in your jammies with your toast and peanut butter. That's very
sorry. I'm reading the chat. Somebody asked me, why am I squinting earlier? Here's the deal, right? I don't wear my glasses for these because of glare. My phone died. I already got up once for my laptop. I'm not getting up again. So I'm trying to read the chat, but I'm kind of blind here. And also, like, I'm leaning in because I want everyone to be able to see my glorious cat take a nap.
There, Grover's out.
So that's what's happening here with the framing. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I think it would be Griff who does the shows, though.
Yeah.
Although, if you're telling me Engelstad, we get to hear him talk for the first time ever.
I've never heard the man speak.
That would be so funny.
How long has he been here? 2 full years? I've never heard the man say a word. Not a word. You guys had Brendan Strawn on the once, like right when he got hired. I haven't heard him. I haven't heard Brendan Strawn speak since March of 2022 or whatever it was. Like, I never heard these guys don't speak. Never heard him speak. It's bizarre.
Which, by the way, that has led to the players having to answer a lot of questions about this.
Yes.
Because they're the only other people we can hear about this from.
Yeah, like this happened a lot during Dino. The assistants, say for on his radio show, they didn't talk anywhere, essentially, which when Dino first presented, like when he first got the job, he's like, hey, I want to do this just for now because I want to make sure there's a consistent message coming from the program and coming from me. It's like, all right, I think that's dumb, but it's at least a thought out thing. Like, you're not just doing this. He wasn't doing this, well, this coach doesn't let his assistant speak, so that's the way to win games. Like, no, he had a reason for it. But then it's like, all right, 1 year became 2, became 8. Like, we never heard from the assistants when, like, being around them behind the scenes, they would have all been, like, you don't think Sean Lewis, all 98 feet tall and his big giant beard, wouldn't have been an entertaining interview? Tony White was a very engaging dude. Like, there was plenty of guys on that staff that would have been good to talk to. It takes the heat off everything landing on the head coach. Yeah, I mean, I know they, in this situation, it doesn't keep your job when you're not winning, no, but I think it helps to hear from people like that. Like, do you need to hear from every day, every week? But, yeah, I don't know. It's rough.
What's weird about it, Govendo mentions that they sent Klein to the show last week. Like, back when I was producing shows, like we got to talk to Klein a few times. They let Klein
you had
talk.
Alex on every now and again. Like they'd put him out there, and it's one where
Now
it's
bless
like,
him.
yeah,
Didn't say anything.
No, nothing.
Klein's a good guy. He didn't say a thing.
Well, that's beside the point. But it's one of those things like, would Dan Engelstad have been like engaging radio that was a ratings winner or something? Probably not. But we've not heard his voice in 2 years. Like, not even once. He was never introduced. Like, he's just been here. He's here. What does he do? Who is the guy? I don't know a damn thing about him. It's bizarre. I know nothing about Dan Engelstad. I know so little about Dan Engelstad that every other time I talk about him, I forget his damn last name. And
I
then
can't guarantee he exists.
Yeah, the year's gonna over. He's gonna disappear forever, and we're never, ever, 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 ever gonna think about him again. Dan Engelstad. So
He's
you want to
gonna
talk
be a
about
piece
why
of
you might
Syracuse trivia?
Yeah, you want to talk about why you might keep Red for the rest of the year? That's why you might keep Red for the rest of the year.
He's the associate head coach, right? Engelstad?
I
even have one?
I don't think they technically have one.
Okay, because I was going to say that would be an awesome piece of trivia if he were. Like, who was the associate head coach in Red Autry's final year? In 10 years, nobody's answering that.
No. I could play, like in 10 years, we could play back this last minute, and then you could ask me the question, and I probably wouldn't be able to answer. It's just, and like, Dan might be the nicest guy on planet Earth. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. Nothing about him.
No, I've heard the only way to get him for an interview is to bring him for some salt and pepper wings.
That's true. I have not offered him salt and pepper wings.
Somebody asked, because I've alluded to this, by the way, so I might as well talk about it since we're talking hoops. I won't keep you too long. Also, instant nog. Almost gone.
I still can't believe they instant in nog. We'll get to that in a second.
And again, spoiler alert, I've been doing some pods with Jackson from Locked On. Some people like his takes, some people don't, but I've worked with him as a student and off the air. We got a great relationship. I enjoy going on with him. So we got something coming out. I think it should be tomorrow. And we talked about record predictions. And man, 3 more wins for the rest of the season felt very, very, very optimistic for me. Like, I was trying to stretch, like, all right, like maybe you beat Notre Dame, but with the vibes right now and with what they just did to Virginia, like, I don't even know. You can't guarantee that. I think the next natural game you think they win is Pitt on Senior Day, but by that point in the season, what's the motivation going to be like? Kev, I appreciate it. I will respond to your message once my phone's on, but thank you. I do appreciate it. Cal, like, did they beat Cal? And then, like, I was trying to sell myself they could beat Wake Forest on the road.
Like, Wake's not good right now. Like, there's another game. There's another game with ACC tournament implications.
So what do they win, man? Like,
yeah,
3 is 3 overshooting it.
Like, I think Notre Dame and Pitt are technically the 2 easiest games remaining on the schedule. Wake,
and I don't like either of them because of timing.
Yeah, Wake is probably the 3rd easiest game on the schedule, and Cal is probably the 4th easiest. You're still,
but Chris Bell's going to drop 30 that game,
or forget when the game tips off. There's no middle ground. Like, Chris Bell's not scoring 6. Chris Bell's either going for 30 or 0 in that game. Like, you're still Big Monday at Carolina. That's in less than a week. You are at Virginia. You have a Big Monday at Duke. You are at Louisville in the Yum Center at 9 o'clock, I think, on a Tuesday night. Carolina's coming to the Dome. Like, SMU's pretty good. They're coming to the Dome. The remaining schedule, like, if Syracuse was good, the remaining schedule would be, like, we'd be excited because it would be a lot of really good games. Like, if Cuse was good, we'd be like, man, this is going to be a banger of a month of February with all these good games. Let's see how many they can win. Now it's just like, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. What? They still got to do this and that, and then you get, one of the other worst teams in the league in Pitt to round out the season and maybe just end it all. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's the only road game, to answer Kev's question, I would think about is Wake Forest, but it's just
Like
I
the
feel
road
bad,
games are
man.
comically hard going forward. Like
Yeah.
comically hard. It's
Which is cool if you're a team that's capable of
Yeah, if
winning
you're-
tough games and needs resume boosters. It's not cool when you're a team that lost to BC and has just spiraled out of control.
Yeah, like
And-
if you were a top 5 team in the league, those would be games you'd be playing. Like legitimately, we'd be talking about, oh, these are the games that are deciding who's getting the double bye in the conference tournament, all this stuff, and they'd be awesome. They'd be the games that Syracuse used to play. They'd be awesome games. Like if Syracuse was good, how excited would you be for at Carolina, at Duke on Big Monday? How excited would you be to watch Syracuse in the Yum Center? The Carolina game in the Dome is a Saturday, right? Like that would be a 30,000 plus pandemonium game. Now it's just like, well, what's the average margin going to be? Like that's all. In this year of all years, Ryan, yes, I would be surprised.
Yes.
In other years, I'd say no. In this year, I mean, knock me over with a feather. Like, I'd do the post-game show lying on the ground. I'd be so surprised if they win either of those games.
So what, they're 12-9 right now. If they win 3-7 to finish the season, that's 15-16. I've given up on life and don't even look at the ACC standings. Do they miss the tournament?
I looked yesterday for the first time only because somebody in postgame brought up the possibility of it happening, which I keep forgetting could happen because that's still new. If they beat, like if their wins are Pitt and Wake Forest and Notre Dame the rest of the way, then realistically missing the ACC tournament would be really hard with 6 league wins or whatever it would be. But like right now, Pitt's like right behind Syracuse in the standings, and I think Wake was a half game ahead of them. Like those are going to be game. Like 3 teams are missing the ACC tournament, and if all of those other hard games turn into losses, if Syracuse doesn't win those games or at least one of those games, they will be one of the teams that misses. And on top of it, like BC's terrible. We know this. BC has 2 league wins. If Syracuse and BC end up tied, the Orange freaking lost to them and they will miss the tournament because they lost to Boston College. Like, that's where it's at. Like, do I think Syracuse will miss it? No. But it may be worse than missing it. You'll play at some stupid o'clock in front of nobody on Tuesday at wherever the hell the ACC tournament is this year, and then it'll all end. But that's where it's at. That's where it's at. It's not great.
Just start Russell.
Yeah.
Just start Calvin Russell. That's where we're at.
There we are. I mean, what did Red say after the last game about like Sadiq, fouling out in 10 minutes? He was the only one that was trying. Was basically
he walked it back. He didn't mean that.
Yeah,
he didn't mean that.
Well, yeah. Oops. Did those words come out of
Donnie did it right. He didn't finish his thought in the locker room before he said, actually, never mind. Red finished
the words that came out. Then he was like, it's like, you can't. That fish out the boat, Red. You can't really bag. Hey, and I'm not saying he's wrong, but what stinks is then everyone blames him again. Well, why didn't you get the other guys to try? It's not all on the coach, but yeah, like at some point, these guys, like it or not, they are professional athletes now playing college basketball. Self-motivation needs to be kind of important because you know what this is all for all of those guys? It's a constant job interview to make money playing basketball later on. Our friend of the show, Carl Minch, shout out to you, Carl Minch, who's still hanging out in the cut and when he named Cayenne player of the game because he had the one dunk on Saturday, Carl replied to the YouTube with like, yeah, that wouldn't have been like the top 5 of Judah's dunks. I'm like, what? And he's like, Judah's over in Turkey. He's doing great. I'm like, yeah, hey, Carl, like Judah, like if Judah likes it overseas, he'll play for a decade and make a ton of money. Like good for him. Good for him. It was great. It was great to hear from Carl Mintz. That was a blast from the past. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but shout out to Carl Mintz.
We love you, Carl Mintz.
Yeah, I just had to mention Carl Mintz before we get going. Do you want to do your Nog review?
Yeah.
Jordan?
So the Java Frost instant eggnog mix, just mixed with milk, limited edition. I think we have some like organic whole milk, not because I'm some snob, but because the organic milk, it lasts way longer. Something about like I've looked it up before, but there's a reason it lasts longer.
I feel usually organic things last less long in other products.
Yes. It's like pasteurized at a very high temperature that kills bacteria, something weird like that. Don't quote me on that. I looked it
It's
up
like
a while ago.
a flash pasteurization. They do it real quick.
I think.
Pasteurization is it's a multiplication of time and temperature. So it's either a very short time at very, very high temperature or slightly longer at not as high temperature. To get an extremely high temperature costs more money due to the highness of the temperature. Louis Pasteur told me that.
Nice.
Me and him were boys.
So like I mixed it up, I drank it. It's so here's the thing, and I'll finish it before we go in.
All right. Jordan Capozzi chugging instant eggnog, which, yes, is in fact a thing.
I understand why it's limited edition.
That's a disconcerting statement.
So the problem is it tastes more like the eggnog candies than it does actual eggnog.
Okay.
And that's not like a great flavor. Like it says on the back, so easy, so delicious. It was definitely easy.
You just added and stirred, right? You had to do no other actions.
Yeah, and you have to like let it stand for 3 minutes to thicken. I don't know, dude.
Okay.
Remember, the score rankings do not have anything to do with the player rating. With the player comp. My phone's dead, so I don't remember what I gave the others as a score.
I think that's appropriate for this point of the eggnog rankings. He's flying
I
blind.
think the eggnog jelly beans got a 6-1, I want to say.
It was something like that. High 5, low 6.
This is better because the texture doesn't match up with licorice. I'm going to give this a 6-4.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the player comp is going to be Donnie Freeman. And this is why, right? When we were thin on options, Brian. We held strong, just like Syracuse men's basketball. And then finally, we went back to a big-time player, Eggnog the beverage, and it just somehow inexplicably made our team worse. This instant eggnog is Donnie Freeman because somehow it came in and just everything got worse. And I can't tell you why, but like this isn't good, and I'm kind of mad I still have this.
But I mean, you are a man. You would drink real nog in all seasons if it existed. Like, are you gonna like just realize in like June you're like, you know what? I got some instant nog here. Maybe we need to nog it up. What is Jordan doing? Jordan's got the jelly beans. Man, he's got the jelly beans. He's got the toffee. The taffy? No, that's the freeze-dried taffy.
The freeze-dried, yeah.
And the instant nog.
Yeah, William Kyle, Bouncy, Tyler Betsy, because it just has just that flash.
The night you eat all of those is going to be a sad affair.
Yeah, because I'll be on my deathbed by the time I actually go back to this stuff.
But that's how long they'll last, which is good.
All right, that's all I got. But, I guess Kev got me some eggnog, so that'll be fun. We'll see if the other eggnog candy comes. Hey, spoiler alert. Oh, wait, no. Calvin Russell's on the team now. We got 2 more.
We need more nog. We need more nog. Calvin Russell must be a nog.
I'm sorry, Donnie. I'm really sorry, Donnie.
Oh, man. That's where we're at. Donnie Freeman is instant eggnog. And
why did I wait so long for Donnie?
Jordan, you turned off your mic. That's where we went. You just muted yourself.
Why did I wait so long for Donnie Freeman? What was I doing?
Well, it might have been because he was out injured, so he was out of sight, out of mind when you started the eggnog rankings, like because it was over the Christmas. We hadn't seen Donnie in a while. It's hard to rate somebody in eggnog when you're like eggnog is very present in our lives, and he was not. I'll say this: Donnie Freeman's also what is instant eggnog? Like he could be instantly here and instantly gone, and we'll never. Much like Dan Engelstad, we may never think of Donnie again after this year. And thus it is. Syracuse basketball. Instant eggnog and another scintillating edition of Transfer Portal Syracuse TPS Report with me, Brian, and him, Jordan. With that, check out Jordan's podcast when it comes out at A time tomorrow, 11 a.m. 11 o'clock in the a.m. Tomorrow. We will be live right here in the 315, and we will debut our new segment featuring a crazy-looking owl called Who's Next, especially if AI kicks me out of video for it, which it's really struggling with right now. I'm going to get back to that. Jordan's going to show us his cats and his dogs living together. Oh, my. See you all.
Dude's gone.
Tomorrow. Dude's gone. See you all tomorrow morning. We're back next week with this thing.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.